Hi, I am ENilhas, and this is my personal goals video. I am a non-endorsement candidate for educational leadership at Fort State University. So right now I live in Littleton, New Hampshire. It's a small town in the north of New Hampshire, and I work at Lancaster. That is a small town 30 minutes away by car. And the district I work in is the White Mountains Regional School District in New Hampshire, and this district serves 5 towns. Just to give you an idea, I added a link to my map here. So this is Littleton, where I live right now. You can see a blue dot. And I'm going to move this so you can see Lancaster is 30 minutes away from my place. So it's right here. Originally, I am from Asuncion, Paraguay in South America. So I'm going to try to show you that I'm far from here, South America in Asuncion. So I moved to New Hampshire like 5 or 6 years ago. And right now I am working for my first year in Lancaster as a preschool teacher. So my work experience, it started a long time ago when I became an early education teacher in Paraguay. Around 1995, I became early education teacher, and because I spoke English and so many parents wanted their kids to learn how to speak English, I got jobs. My first jobs were as an ESL teacher, English as a second language teacher with young learners in early education centers and also at schools. So I worked doing that for about 7 years in Asuncion, Paraguay. And later I became an administrator. And my job then still was linked to English. I was in early education. I started and developed and administrated full immersion programs in English for students that were from 2 to 6 years old. And these were very big programs, about 200 or 300 children. So I worked in 2 different schools doing that. And then in 2014, my husband and I moved to Cartagena, Colombia. There in an American school, I got a position as a grade 1 homeroom teacher. And then it was the first time I was ever a homeroom teacher, which I really loved. It's an experience I really love being a homeroom teacher. We stayed in Colombia for 2 years, and then in 2016, we moved to New Hampshire. My husband got a position as a superintendent and in one district where we lived in, and then I got a job as a special education teacher in another district, even though I have never have taken a class in special education before or taught special education, had any special education background, because in Paraguay we don't have something like this. However, things worked out and I kept that job for 5 years. And right now in 2021, 2022, for the first time, I have a job that combines special education and preschool homeroom teacher in the same district, but it's in another building. My education, in 1994, 1995, I graduated with an AA in early education en la Universidad Católica Nuestra Señora de la Asunción en Asunción, Paraguay. And many, many years later, even though I finished all the classes and all the courses in Paraguay, to graduate with a BA, you have to do a thesis, which is pretty expensive. And so I postponed my thesis there for my graduation for several years. However, I graduated with a BA in bilingual education with an emphasis in English, and that I done that at the Universidad Evangélica de Paraguay in Lambaré, Paraguay. And finally, I got my master's degree as a special education at Fort State University, and I finished this, I would say, in 2019. And after that, I rested for a semester maybe, and then I started my endorsement education to become a building administrator, also at Hawaii State University. So about my personal goals, I thought I can't think of 5-year chunks because I think there's 5 years go back in a blink when you're getting older. So my personal goal for the next 10 years is I love learning and I love to continue learning, even though I am looking for something more independent. I would like to keep learning languages specifically. I am taking classes in Italian and French at this point, and I would love to learn to be fluent in these languages. And also I'm very curious about Japanese. So that's something that I hope it keeps me active, my brain active. Another personal goal of mine is to keep myself healthy. Keeping working at my health, it requires a lot of work and effort from my part. I have lost about 50 or 60 pounds, and keeping myself healthy is not something I take it lightly, and I wish I could keep on this health journey and try to find a balance and keep my body active and healthy. Another goal that I have is to travel a lot and get to know new places. I hope I can at least once a year go to a country that I wish to visit, or I don't know. And another goal that I have in the next 10 years is maybe move back to Paraguay. And that has a question mark. I'm just thinking that I have an elder mom that might need my assistance. And even though I'm not part of the family that lives in Paraguay right now, I don't wish to be absent from that stage of her life. So I'm thinking, I'm keeping my mind open, and possibly I might go back to Paraguay for a couple of years if I am needed to. I'm needed there. Beyond 10 years, well, I hope I can work on my financial security, and I am not wishing to be rich by any means. I don't think any teacher does care about being rich. But I do wish to be independent and enough to support myself after retirement and in my elder years. And I would like to downsize. I have been researching a lot about tiny houses and the tiny house movement. I like tiny houses and I am very passionate about the design that goes into it, but I decided that I might like to move into a smaller home, but not a tiny house. And another thing that I would love to keep working at is staying active, keep hiking, kayaking, working with keeping myself being very, very active, um, and especially keeping myself healthy. And one thing I hope to continue working on beyond 10 years from now is my connections. When you are someone that has, I have family in different parts of the world and friends, and I don't want to wish this connection, let these connections fade away. And so I try to be mindful and keep these connections open. Right now, I have a daughter that lives in Vermont, another one that lives in San Diego. My husband also has kids of his previous marriage that live in Kansas and Virginia. So they are important to us. And even though we don't live close to them, we wish to be part of their lives. So my professional goals for the next 10 years. Right now, I am working on my endorsement on early education. I became a special education teacher. An early education teacher. And I do have an AA and lots of years of experience. However, I don't have my endorsement in New Hampshire. And I just took a couple of tests that might allow me to take an oral exam and present a portfolio. And for this test that I require a lot of preparation and studying, a lot of my time, a lot of energy. So I hope I can become fully certified very soon. And when I finished my education at Forsyth State to become a building administrator, I hope to work on my certification and comply with all the requirements to be an administrator here in New Hampshire. So after that, I will explore opportunities to be an administrator here, right here in New Hampshire, in the north part of New Hampshire where I live. There are not many Spanish speakers. Actually, in the school that I work on at the other school, we had zero students that were ESL, and we didn't have an ESL teacher until somebody moved from abroad, and so we had one, and then we had two. So my language skills, being bilingual right now, is not a great asset. I have a big interest in early education, in primary learning. I have an interest in art. So ideally for me, I would be working for a school like a magnet school for the arts, bilingual school, a school that has a large population of Latino students, or somebody where my background, somewhere where my background would be of value. Right now, where I am at, I do feel appreciated, but I don't think I am using my background as much as I could in other settings. So I want to explore opportunities, and maybe this will happen a little bit south of New Hampshire, not at the north, closer to Boston and Massachusetts. I want to become an administrator, even though being an administrator, for me, my experience is a very lonely job, is because you have to maintain confidentiality, and there's so many things you cannot explain. And what gives me joy is being in the classroom with little children. I do want to be an administrator at some point, basically because I think I cannot retire with a salary teacher. I need an administrator's salary to retire. And that is a little bit sad to admit. And however, I think I can be of service. I think I can be of service to the community and my students if I do become, and the teacher, sorry, if I become an administrator. And one of the things that once I become an administrator, one thing that I want to continue developing professionally is community involvement. And I believe an administrator that works along with the community, it's a better leader. So that's something I would love to continue working on and becoming stronger at. Beyond 10 years from now, another thing that I would love to develop on and learn more and become stronger at is my leadership skills. I think an administrator really needs to be supportive of the teaching staff, and to be somebody that elevates the teaching staff and promotes the professional development and excellence. So I hope I can be a leader who can push and progress and development and improvement, and at the same time being a leader that is compassionate and also can work with people. After a few years, beyond 10 years, I am planning to retire from New Hampshire and start working at international school somewhere. I'm not sure where. I am exploring different ideas. Of course, everybody loves to go to Europe to work at international schools. You're paid in dollars, you're paid room and board, and you're paid a salary. I'm also exploring Asia. So I think after I retire from New Hampshire, just to continue with my personal goal of obtaining financial security, I might work hopefully as an administrator in an international setting, possibly in Asia, or if I'm lucky, in Europe. After some years of that, I plan to retire from full-time jobs and stop working as an administrator and explore other options as an educator that might allow me to keep myself, my mind, and my body active without having the commitment of working every day for a full year or with a specific schedule. I hope to contribute to my community and wherever I live in that area at that point. But those are my goals once I retire from all my full-time jobs. Another question we had to answer in this video is why I chose Fort Hays State University. And one of the possible answers was it because of cost? Was it because of the name it has? Well, it was both for me. And obviously the cost allowed me to pay for my master's degree in special education, and also for the classes that I'm taking without breaking the bank. And at this time I'm paying also, I'm helping my daughter pay for her college degree. She's an undergrad student, a senior right now. So cost is a big deal, but also it's because my husband is originally from Waukene, Kansas, and he did graduate from Fort Hays. He has told me that Fort Hays has been ahead of the times with online learning before it was cool. So Fort Hays has had remote learning for a long time by now, and they have a lot of experience with this asynchronous learning, and that allowed me to have a full-time job, my career, my family obligations, and also get my degree in my master's degree, and hopefully my endorsement in school administration. So I think it's a combination of both, and I know that Fort Hays has also very strong programs abroad. So they have been doing this for a long time, which I really appreciate. My expectations for the program. My expectations for the program is to learn how to be a building administrator here in the United States. I became an administrator in Paraguay, and over there, what was required to be an administrator was experience in the classroom. However, there were so many things I would have loved to know before I became an administrator, as supervision and evaluation of school personnel. There are so many things that I would have done different if I had learned this. So as an administrator right now, I think I would go once I graduate, having so many tools in my toolbox and knowing what I would love to continue learning more once I graduate. So those are my expectations, to have the tools I need to be effective administrator. Thank you.